The story so far. The year is MS 5115, though the Dark Lords have long been destroyed, and their foul legacy vanquished once again. The machinations of Nar are not so easily ended. Once nothing more than a terrible villain in the distant past, Agarash rose reborn to spread its corruption across Magnamund again. The forces of good struggled to resist the power of the damned, clashing with its vile spawn, the Agarashi, on both sides of the Macon Gorge. Years have passed since Supreme Master Lone Wolf faced the greatest challenge the world had ever known, and defeated it. The cost of that victory was high indeed, but the sacrifices he and his allies made over the course of their grand campaign brought peace to the world. For a time, at least. But true evil never dies. Good must remain forever vigilant against its inevitable rise. This brief surcease from the sun god Kai's eternal war against Nar has presented the Order with a chance to plan, to build, and grow stronger before the shadow of war darkens the land once again. In the wake of Lone Wolf's victory, the leaders of the Kai in both Sommerlund and Lorne have pledged their support to a bold new initiative, the founding of the Third Kai Monastery in the distant land of the Telkoi. But even as both monasteries openly send troops, supplies, and initiates to reclaim the ruins of Avan Telkos, a second great work has also begun. Guided by Grandmaster Shadowraven, and making use of hidden resources and clandestine allies, another way has been found to ensure the legacy of the Kai Lords does not falter or fall should Nar's forces sweep across Magnamund once again. Working in secret, Shadowraven has toiled for months to prepare for what may be the most dangerous undertaking the Kai Order has ever attempted. While the best and brightest of the Kai have been sent to Telkos along with caravans of goods and an allied force of soldiers, artisans, and masons numbering over 1,000, this other operation has only taken in a few at a time, drawing on unknown and outcasts, people who will not be missed or noticed. The Grandmaster has almost everything needed to see this covert plan to fruition. All he lacks now are Kai Lords who, for one reason or another, have little place in the established order. The road ahead will take him and those he brings along far from the shores of Sommerlund, possibly never to return. The right choice of Kai could ensure the success of this daring endeavor. The wrong choice could doom them all. Welcome to Legacy of the Kai Lords, a Let's Play podcast. I'm your narrator, August Hahn, and with me are my players Scott, Robbie, and Kat. Let's begin. You've traveled for about 4 days on a small merchant coastal called Dahlia's Dream. It's been a rough trip, but mostly just because of the constant winds lashing against the sails and moving the ship to and fro. For the most part, your meals have been excellent for as long as they've stayed down. Just before you all reach the Port of Skorn, you have time for one quick meal in the ship's galley. So you're in a busy room, deep in the ship. There are sailors nearby, but none of them are sharing your table. And the three of you are together and have a chance to talk.
One last meal. That's not foreboding at all.
The exact words the captain used, too. You know from stories you've picked up over the last 4 days that it's called the Dahlia's Dream because his wife's name was Dahlia. And that it was always her dream for them to own their own ship. She didn't live long enough to see that, so he named the ship after her. He's a friendly enough man with a bit of a grim disposition. Dahlia was Kirlundin, and so some of that's rubbed off on him. Still,
yeah, that's fair.
Friendly enough man, and runs a tight ship. Has been generous to you all, and treated you with the respect that Kai Lords deserve. He must not know the reputation that you 10 have.
Well, they clearly didn't tell him.
Right.
Exactly. A number of fellow Kai Lords are eating glumly, or at least just staying silent. And one, whom you've never seen her without a book in hand, staring at the pages and ignoring everyone else, is doing exactly that. How she can read and eat soup at the same time is a bit of a trick, but she's good at it. Never once looking up, but never once missing the bowl with her spoon either.
Practice. practice.
That is
Lots
that is a
practice.
Professional bookworm.
Yeah.
Good on her.
So, do any of you actually know what we're here for?
Oh, no, they refuse
No.
to tell me.
So,
We're supposed to find out when we get here.
Well, I hope we're not just getting sent away. I mean, that happened to me when I was a child. I wouldn't want it to happen again. I know for some of you, going to the monastery was an honor. For me, it was that or an orphanage.
sorry to hear.
Yeah, that's rough.
Now, the person talking, he's barely 5 feet tall. He's short enough, actually, that the standard Kai cloak that he's wearing had to be altered because it was dragging the ground. His name is Fading Fox, and he has a reputation for just being ignorable. Not intentionally. He's got that kind of face and build that when somebody tries to describe him later, it's that guy with the face and hair.
I'm pretty sure it was a guy.
It was pretty sure it was a guy. But he seems friendly enough, at least.
Oh.
Hey, friendly's fine, right?
They didn't tell me anything. I mean, honestly, my invitation to this trip got lost like 4 times before they ever actually managed to get it to me.
That's unfortunate. I'm glad you got it. The only thing they told me is when I looked at them is that I wasn't expendable, even though that was what I was thinking.
I have to admit, I was kind of wondering the same thing myself.
Yeah.
I just don't want to get sent away. Still.
Yeah. I'm sure there's something for us to do here. And hopefully it's to not sit on a rock with nothing but rock on it.
Isn't this a little high up in the islands? I mean, it's not Silver Shore by any stretch.
I mean, it's almost as high as you can go. The only
there's
one north of this is...
There's war. At least there's some dirt here. Not much, but a little.
Yeah.
I hear there's not enough dirt to grow your crops.
Nope.
So, well, that's why the hold is full of, well, it's got all kinds of things down there, really, but it's mostly root vegetables and a lot of cloth.
I mean,
and that's not even to mention what's in all the locked chests, which I absolutely don't know. Turning right back to his food and going quiet for a while.
Well, if you were to speculate.
If I were to speculate, I might possibly have seen a lot of light armor and weapons.
Well, that argues will be necessary.
What the hell do you think they need weapons for?
The turnips are rebelling.
They can't grow turnips!
That's why they're rebelling.
That's a good one.
The crabs are revolting.
Yeah, especially after 4 days. They stink. I don't get it.
That could practically be your tagline, couldn't it?
You say to the Kai Lord named Strongbowl.
yeah.
Yes. For the longest time, actually, it was Stonebowl. But at some point, he seemed to get the intimation in his head, whether it was true or not, that he was called Stonebull because his head was like a rock. At which point, he wanted a new name. And it was that point in his training where he was allowed to choose one. And so with the approval of the masters at the monastery, it was changed to Strongbull. It's not much of an improvement. He's not bright, but he's very direct, and he's built, most of that is muscle. Most.
Especially between his ears.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's still basically got a rock in his skull. But he's strong, he's direct, and
That's useful every now and then.
he's not smart enough to be duplicitous, so you can trust him. You can always trust him to do whatever is the most violent or physical thing possible. There's a good reason he's on this boat.
Yeah, about the same as mine.
What's your name again?
Dawn Strider.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember now. He won't remember it tomorrow. For the last 4 days, he's asked over and over. Right, I'll remember. No, he won't.
Not at all.
Not even close. But the meal goes on. The sailors are busy scarfing down what they can around you. So you've got some privacy if there's anything you actually want to discuss. The ship's pretty close to port.
Hopefully they tell us quick what they need us to do there. Alright.
I'd appreciate that.
Maybe this is where all those supplies have been going, says the Kylo with her face in a book.
What supplies?
Oh, just something my master told me before we left the monastery.
wanted me to make sure that the last set of ships... Not looking up at you at all.
Yeah.
Continuing to talk while she's reading. That the last set of ships that headed up this way had actually reached their destination. I asked if he meant Skorn, and he didn't specifically say, but it seemed to be that's not actually what he meant. I don't know of anywhere else on this island to even dock, much less offload supplies. So I guess we've got our work cut out for us.
Yeah, it would seem so.
At least we'll be off the boat for a little bit.
Thank God. If I never see another boat again, it'll be too soon.
I mean, we will have to leave at
I
some
know,
point.
shut up.
I don't think he wants to think about that.
Well, I guess.
Maybe I can walk back.
Settle down and find a local girl.
Worked for me great-grand.
I'm good.
I mean, if you don't want to be on a boat, that's your option.
Hopefully, we won't be on the boat much longer. Fading Fox just shrugs. I actually come up to the islands relatively often. But I've only ever gone as north as Silvershore. I've never come this far. The seas are a lot choppier up here. I guess if nobody knows why we're here, all we can really do is, well, you were told to go to the Kettle of Fish, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same with all of us then.
Go there and our contact's supposed to find us. Hard to miss us, but...
Did anybody ever say what our contact even was?
Nope.
No.
Ugh!
It was a turnip in an armored suit.
Ugh! Nar's eyes be damned! I just want some details! I don't do well without direction. There's an understatement.
Smack him in the forehead and see what happens.
What's with your obsession with turnips?
It's the only root vegetable I can think of. Carrots.
Somebody else needs to be named
Just don't look
Stonebolt.
scary.
One Famarn festival, somebody hollowed him out to use him like a lantern and forgot to put anything back in. Like a
Ew.
gourd. She, for a moment, actually briefly looks up from her book to tease at you, and then goes right back to it.
You got her to look up from the book. Good job. I haven't seen her look up from that book in like 4 years.
I can see why she doesn't.
Hey, that's mean.
I'm not nice.
She reaches up to turn the page using just a single finger. And goes right back to reading. I don't think that anybody ever explained to her that mind shielding isn't just ignoring people. Works better than you'd think, she says from her book. Even as the captain is coming down the stairs. We're about to heave anchor. You all are going to want to come on up.
All right.
We'll let you lot off first. We've got a lot to finish up before we even start offloading supplies. So, if you got a green cloak, hit the deck.
Finish the rest of my food and go.
The others are doing the same.
Just wonder what the deck did to him to make him so mad.
Do
I'll
you?
grab a couple of extra rolls.
Do you think he really wants us to hit it?
No.
Yeah. Oh.
No. Don't damage the ship. Don't listen to him. He's an ass.
Oh, okay. Then he follows me. I think we just narrowly avoided disaster there. I don't know what we'd do if we hit his boat, but I think the captain's a little possessive of it.
Give it its name for his dead wife, but I can see why.
It would have been amusing to watch, though.
He's strong enough. He might have made it through to the bottom. I don't want to sink.
Especially not here. I hear the reefs are lethal.
I
Oh, you know for a fact that that's exactly true. That while this island isn't particularly bad about it, there are a few others that are surrounded by razor-sharp rocks. That if you approach them the wrong way, well, Captain Junga, his fleet found that out to their peril. Of the many ships that were brought here, he lost almost half of them just to the natural defenses of these places. That the rocks took many of his boats and a lot of his treasure down to the deeps, much of which has never been recovered. Which is why the Shottakeen buccaneers come here every now and then. Sometimes peacefully, sometimes not. But you all continue on up, go to your rooms, grab your bags.
Yep.
Slinging on your backpacks, strapping on your weapons. You've not been allowed to wear your weapons aboard ship, but no
dangerous.
one's been allowed to. However, as a concession to the fact that you're Kylords, you've been allowed to wear your daggers.
That's good.
You know that while the captain has been friendly, he's going to be very grateful to get you off his ship.
Well, yeah.
Just the
The omen.
omen of having one Kylord on your boat is bad.
But
10
of them,
Kylords?
with a couple of them being women, that's...
Yeah. Fortunately, the stigma on women is not nearly as bad as it could be. But it's really... Kylords eclipses that. Many are the stories of a Kylord got on a ship, it sank. And gods forbid that Supreme Master Lone Wolf get aboard your ship. You are doomed. He will be grateful to have you all off. Pulling into Skorn, for those of you who've been here before, there's not much to miss. At its most, there were only ever 250 people here. Population at the moment is probably closer to 200. There are only a few buildings. And the Kettle of Fish is a tavern in much the same way as a bowl of beans and a dinner roll would be considered a feast. It has a sign, and they probably serve drinks inside. That may be the closest that it's going to ever come to being a tavern. But you can see the sign from the boat.
That's okay, because it has 4 walls and a roof.
Probably. Yeah. At this distance, you can see at least 3 of those things.
I'm going to take it.
Sailors are already moving up and down through the ship, some going onto the deck and some heading down to the cargo hold. So you have to dodge around them to get to the edge so that you can leave off. But when the boarding ramp is lowered and you all can leave,
Thank the captain and go.
several of your compatriots do the exact same. Walking with you, traveling from the length of the ship all the way down the pier, which is in rough repair, but sturdy. Rough repair but sturdy could be one of those mottos of the Kirlundin people, much less their towns. Nothing here is new, nothing is in pristine condition, but everything works, and it will probably look exactly like this in another 100 years.
Well, yeah, it's not like they can grow trees here to replace it. Use what you got.
Use what you got, keep what you've got in at least somewhat decent repair. Everything here is rough but functional, which, to be honest, could also be used to describe some of your fellow Kai Lords.
Yeah.
Strongbow being a primary example.
Are you saying something about me?
Yes.
No one is there to greet you.
That's okay.
If you have business here, you're expected to get to it. I suppose we ought to be grateful that there's even a sign.
Yeah, that's fair.
Tavern's supposed to have a sign?
I guess that's true, but I thought that there was supposed to be like some kind of trading costume or like Northwind Trading Company. Aren't they supposed to have buildings here? That might be the 2 large buildings deeper into town. At the very end of the pier, there are 2 buildings that dwarf everything else here.
She points. Probably them.
That's where the money in this town is, yeah.
Kind of makes me wonder what money would even be good for here. I guess it's...
When you go to port and buy food.
I guess that's true.
Or when you pay to get out of this town.
Ah, that's fair.
Go down to the other islands and get you things.
I bet everything else here is basically done by barter.
Would make a lot of sense.
Oh, that's why I packed a bunch of basic things in my bag before I left. Stuff they might need here. Stuff we might be able to trade for whatever useful.
That was
Never
very
met,
smart.
Well, all that time traveling with merchants had to be good for something, right? I found that when it comes to trade, you just keep a watch on what people value, and then you try to keep that on you. That way, you're useful, and people don't forget you.
Yeah.
Sure. It works that way.
Don't worry, we won't forget you.
Well, if the people don't forget you, that makes you a target. Especially if you're carrying things they value.
Trust me, I wish people would forget me sometimes.
I'm sure you would.
It's not as great as you might think. Although I guess for you... So, is it true?
No.
So you're not related at all?
Not direct.
So you are related.
It's like a second cousin.
He just keeps nodding.
Yeah.
So he's actually in your bloodline?
Oh, yeah.
The traitor?
Oh, yeah.
Stop talking.
The bookworm
reading.
actually looks up from her book at this conversation. So far, her face has just been in the book, and yet she is still arrow
Twice a day.
straight down the dock. Even avoiding a coil of rope she couldn't possibly have seen. But at that conversation, she does look up. So it is true, then. And I heard you've actually been studying magic as well.
Yep, here we go. And I just keep walking.
I come over,
You-
clap him on the back.
You have?
But he's a good one. Meaty, sort of
Thump.
thump.
He's sturdy.
I wasn't trying to say that you weren't. I was just curious. I mean, I hear the rumors.
Everybody does.
People forget I'm around, so they talk.
Yeah.
Are you still here? Yeah, I hear that a lot.
So do I, but for different reasons.
What? And you all have reached the tavern. Inside it is a little more like a tavern, at least. Inside there are several tables, several people sitting, a lot of drinking, clattering plates, and 3 people walking back and forth, carrying drinks, carrying plates, tidying up. At least as much as they're bothering, There are a few tables here that don't have anyone sitting at them, and they still have old plates or dirty dishes. No one's bothered to clean them yet. A man standing behind what passes for a counter stares at you all and waves in. Does not seem surprised to see 10 Kai Lords at his door.
Walk on in.
And you'd think that would be a surprising thing, especially for up here.
Yeah.
10 Kai Lords walk into a bar.
It explodes.
Or sinks.
You're on the docks.
No, the
that could
island
actually
sinks.
happen.
Tears apart.
The island cracks apart, sinks, and
Oh, I
falls
hope
into the
not.
waves.
Darkness descends, and everything
My
disappears
reputation would never survive.
into the Dazan. He gestures to a couple of tables in the back, and when he does, one of the young boys rushes over there and gathers everything up into a small pail.
I walked over and started.
Very, very sorry. Please forgive. I hadn't gotten to it yet.
It's fine.
It's all right.
Just sit. I'll bring you his waters.
None of us are that fussy.
Ale. See if we have any. What kind of tavern doesn't have ale?
One
Tavern
in
at
the
the
middle of
ass
nowhere.
end of the world.
Well, then why are we here?
But
But he
we
does
don't
sit down.
know,
We
because
don't
they sent
know
us.
yet. Drink your water.
Grabs his water cup as soon as it comes. The man behind the counter who told you all to sit has not come over to you yet, but instead has gone into the back and is standing in the doorway back to you all. From the way he's moving, it's clear he's having a conversation, but you can't hear with him.
It's alright. Just wait.
Anyone who has hunting could make a discipline check if they want to try to overhear it.
I have hunting, and I would like to overhear it.
All right. Roll your test.
5.
You may add to that your bonus from willpower.
Willpower score is 17.
17. All right. So the bonus that you derived from that, added to that, it's enough for you to hear that he's talking to a man. But you can't make out the specific words. It's a little too loud in here.
Do I hear a murder, traitor?
No. It seems to be a calm conversation as well.
Okay.
No, it's not.
There's no harm plotting my murder. I'm fine.
If he is, he's particularly sanguine about it. He's not upset, and no one's yelling. By the time he does come around to you, it is with a wide basket of shellfish surrounding a round loaf of crusted brown bread. There's a divot in the middle and a crock of old but still serviceable butter with a blunt knife stuck in it.
Food's food.
Sets it down in the middle of the table, and several of your fellow Kai Lords descend.
Yeah.
Tear off a chunk, butter it, start shoveling in some shellfish.
Yeah.
Eat, rest, take a bit of time, and then, when you're ready, the person who called you all here will come out, have a chat with you.
Alright.
Until then, enjoy.
Thank you.
He stands up. For no reason that you can see, on his way back, just smacks the back of the head of one of the sailors there, who mutters to himself, and when he does, a card falls out of his sleeve. The two people that he's having a friendly game with immediately drag him out of the town. Though they missed the card, interestingly enough. A few of the Kai Lords that are here, who know how to eat shellfish, do show those of you who don't how to use the end of the knife, which has an odd shape to it, to pry open the mollusks, to get to the nicely boiled meat inside. You dine, having a relatively good, if brief, meal. When it's clear that most of you are done, the man who gestured you over here glances out of that back room again. He is the one who actually comes back, not someone else. He's got a concerned look. Passing by, he glances around the room, then sort of shrugs to himself and approaches your table again. When he does, the Kai lady with the book glances up. He's changed the plan just a little bit.
Alright.
Let's say it ain't so.
I don't know why, but he actually wants to meet you in the back.
Okay.
That door. He doesn't want you all to move en masse. A few at a time.
Okay.
Keep it simple.
Thank you.
Then he... Round of drinks on the house, he says as he gets back to the counter.
Distraction.
See, they do have ale!
Say alcohol drinks, no did he?
It looks like you've shattered his entire world. He was so hopeful for a moment, and you have ruined it. As such, he's one of the first to get up and go to the back, looking upset.
He's so adorable when he's confused.
Oh, is that what adorable looks like?
I listened for somebody stabbing him in the back or knocking him over the head.
You do not overhear the sounds of shanking or smashing.
Alright. Let's go.
All right.
A couple more.
Hey, forgetful. Go on.
Do you actually remember my name? Your silence tells him everything he needs to know, and he just...
Go on, Fanny Fox.
Thank you. And he wanders back that
Oh,
direction.
boosted ego. Just shatter easier.
The kind lady with the book, whose name you've just never gotten, gets up and follows him after a moment.
Clearly judging bookworm.
Judging Bookworm.
Oh, that's better than what I was going to say.
You actually think it's Brighthawk. You think it's Brighthawk. She's got a bit of a hawkish nose.
Brighthawk works.
She's pretty in a very hawkish way. The
Yeah.
name works really well. Pretty, studious, quiet.
Not what I'm going to call it.
During this trip, yeah, we know. During this trip is the most words you've ever heard from her.
She looked up from a book 3 times today.
Yeah. You weren't certain
I'm
that was
worried.
even physically
That's a
possible.
symbol of the apocalypse, isn't it?
Should be. It broke at least one seal.
I'm listening.
You do not hear people getting gutted.
I'll go ahead and go.
There's
Seems
murmuring.
like-
There's murmuring past the door, but eventually you will get up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wander back that way. You're some of the last to go. And once you
fine.
once you get there, it is a somewhat smallish room. You're all a little crammed in. Room has been made in the middle, where all the boxes and crates that were here have been shoved to one side. But there's not a lot of room. And the last one through can close the door.
They,
Other side of the room has a door that clearly leads out. You can see sunlight coming in through the side crack. It's somewhat ill-fitting, and it looks like at one time it was split down the middle and just repaired by a pair of cross struts. Nothing goes to waste here.
No.
There were 2 pieces of good wood, so they went ahead and kept it. But as it is, there's a gap showing you that does lead to the outside. The sunlight is thin, streaming in, but visible. Corner of the room, past a couple of boxes, and almost invisible. There's an 11th figure. Someone standing there, waiting for you all to come in. Thank you all for making the trip out here. I know you weren't told much, and unfortunately, I couldn't. This mission has been secret since it was given to me. I'm Grandmaster Shadowribbon, and I'm the one that called you all out. You've probably got questions, but listen to what I have to tell you before you ask them. As some of you may know, both the monastery in Sommerlund and the monastery on the Isle of Lorn have been working together to establish a 3rd monastery in Telkos. It's a huge undertaking, between having to get the supplies there and then sending acolytes, sending as many craftsmen as is needed to build a full monastery in those ruins. It's been very visible and, to be honest, a logistical night to an extent. And what I'm about to tell you is a secret. The number of people who actually know this next part is limited to this room, the leadership of both monasteries, and myself. As loud and as complicated as Telkos is, there's a purpose behind that. All of that attention is diverting away from what's happening here. The Order wants to expand its reach with the losses that we took not long ago, and the fact that while evil may have been vanquished, it never truly dies. We need to be able to shore up our defenses, expand our reach, and preserve the Order. When Zagarna's push destroyed the monastery, Kai were almost snuffed out. You all know this. Were it not for Supreme Master Lone Wolf, our order would have been over. While we are spreading out now, while we'll soon have 3 monasteries, it would only take one invasion, one massive sweep north and south, to take us out again. We're the bastion. We're where the hammer falls first. As such, does this speech ever end? The man in the corner just looks vaguely amused. And continues. We need to make certain that if something were to happen on Magnamund, the Kai are not completely destroyed. I was asked to put together a clandestine 4th excursion. We'll be setting out from here. From here? There's nothing around here. Do you intend to build a monastery on an island of rock? No. At least, we hope not. But we won't be building around here. No. I can't tell you much more on that until we get to our actual base here. Skorn is just where I'm meeting you. We have another base.
Okay.
all right.
What's wrong with this place? Well, Skorn doesn't turn anyone aside. And at the moment, there are At least 2 Shadakeen here looking to treasure hunt. I'm sure they wouldn't mind selling rumors, too. So it's best if we move on. I'd have brought you directly, but I couldn't really trust the crew of that ship. Captain, he's a good man, but the crew, they could be anybody.
What do you intend to have us do?
There's a small boat on the left side of the pier. You'll see it. It's got a gray hull. And the captain of that little ship has been paid well to take you all where we're actually building.
Okay.
The ship will take you, come back, get the next group. And we'll do this over the course of the rest of the night.
All right.
With the rocks around here, is sailing at night a good idea?
No. But it's a necessary one. During the day, it's far too visible. The captain of that small boat is quite skilled at traveling at night. You won't have to worry about that. He's made this trip several times for me.
And you trust him?
As much as I can trust anyone. And before I go, I'm willing to answer questions. Just understand that I may not be able to tell you everything yet.
Is this a place we're meant to stay?
When we get to where we're going to build the monastery, probably. I wouldn't plan on being back for a long time. There's a reason you all were picked.
Expendable.
Not expendable. Just with no one to bring or to worry about where we went.
Also
no one to
expendable.
ask questions.
I'm kind of with the expendable part.
It's okay.
I mean, we're all
You're
sort of
forgettable.
We
Not
serve a
expendable.
purpose. It's we go out to do these things, but yes.
all right. Now, all of that said, if there's any of you, now that you've heard even this much, who don't want to come along, you can get right back on the Dahlia's Dream and head back with her. No questions asked, no shame. The order will take you back. You can return to the monastery and whatever the rest of your careers would take you to. I won't say a word, and your elders won't shame you.
No, I'm good.
Is there going to be any action involved? Because I'm not exactly a builder. I know exactly what you are. And there's a reason you were asked to come along. It is very possible that where we're going...
There will be somebody to hurt. Don't worry.
Good! I mean, for Kai.
Sure.
There are other snorts amongst the group. Even Brighthawk just sort of suppresses a smile and then turns a page. Continuing to read even during that speech. Any other questions?
Nothing I'm going to ask here.
That's fine. We'll have time to talk once you all get where the boat's going.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing you all there. I really want to show you what we've been building. I think once you see it, you'll be as excited for this mission as I am. Until then, I understand the apprehension. Trust me, when the elders came to me with this, I wasn't so sure it was a good idea either. But you all weren't there for the final battles against Vashna. His forces that boiled up out of the earth. The people we lost. The friends. Preserving the Kai is worth any cost. You'll see. I look forward to meeting you all again there. He steps backwards and, as far as you can tell, just flat vanishes. The darkness collapses where he's standing, and then he's just not there.
I guess the meeting's adjourned. Huh.
The 3 of you, then, will be the first group out. As you quickly learn, the small ship that's sitting off the docks is called the Reef's Ghost.
Okay, yeah.
It's not a very big boat. And it doesn't really have a crew. It has 1 sail, it has 2 poles, it has a rudder, that the pole of which can be reached from the front of the ship, and then there's just seats on either side.
Bigger than my boat. So
It's practically a skiff.
She looks over. You're about to be sicker than you were on the big boat.
Yeah. Should it?
And on that note, we pause Part 1 of Stormfall. Thank you for listening to Legacy of the Kai Lords. This game is set in Magnamund, the world of Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf is a series of game books written by Joe Deaver and published worldwide in 7 different languages. For more information, and to read many of these game books online, go to projectaeon.org. For more information on the books themselves and the ones that are currently being published, go to Holmgard Press to find the latest books and to get notifications when the new ones are being published. This campaign is being run using the Lone Wolf Adventure game, which is published by Cubicle 7. More information can be found on their website as well. For updates on this podcast, supplementary game materials, and all of the links mentioned here, please visit our YouTube channel at Rookhaven Studios. Until next time, heroes, for Sommerlund and the Kai.